In every melacha, what do you really want? You want the toitzah in the chefza. You want the toitzah now. Now I want to have I want a sadeh charush. I want a hole. I want whatever you want. You're doing a pull to get that. If someone says, here it is, you don't have to do any pull. I'll say gishmak, thank you. That's a gilui to know. All I want is a change in the chefza. But over here is different. Over here, I'm magdir the melacha as the pu'ula.
Wherever you get your podcasts from, or our own website, prismoftorah.com. This is the Prism of Torah with Reb Asaf Aharon Prisman.
Okay, Bershus, the Rosh Kollel, esteemed Chevri HaKollel. I don't know how to start, but I'm going to start slow so that everyone will be aligned with me. And we all know we didn't really hit the heart of the Melachas, but we're about to embark on a journey of going through the Melachas. And hence, there are at least a certain set of Melachas that I want to share with you, different Mehalchim, and trying to figure out what the guts of these Melachas are. And I'm doing this through a Tosfos we all learned by now, and a kasha Rabbi Akiva Eiger has on it, and different ways of metaritzit. And through that, perhaps I can share with you the hours I spent to try to figure out what's going on here, and that can help us and shed some light on the future, and we can test out the yesodis I'm trying to come up with, and you'll tell me if they're right or wrong along the way. But it's not so easy to right now say, yeah, you're right, because there's a taz over there, or it's big, massive yesodis. Some are even big chidushim, and I just want to share it with you, so we'll try to go slowly. As the Rosh Kollel says, there's two types of chabura. There's a chabura that you're summarizing everything and bringing yesodis that came out from the sugya we did, and there's a psicha. This is somewhere in the middle. I want to share with you what I came out from this thesis that I'm going to speak about soon. But also, I want to share with you concepts for a certain set of malachos, specifically those malachos that are almanas, like Korea, almanas litful, Mochek, almanat lichtov. What's unique about this? So we'll start. Our Gemara, or my Gemara, on Ein Gimel Amud Beis, says, Amar Rav Kavana, Zoimer v'tzarich le'etzim chayav shtayim. Yeah, a person's now cutting his tree, and he chayav shtayim. Why? He's metaking the tree. Achas mishum koitzer v'achas mishum notea. Yeah, notea because he's fixing the tree, so it's as if he's planting it from a certain perspective. On the other hand, he's now also cutting for the wood, so he created wood that he can use for something. So it was a tikkun. Amar Rav Yosef. Now Rav Kahana says, and these are the two magic words, v'tzarich le'etzim. Meaning, if you look at the situation, for sure, Bichoira, he did a tikkun now. I now have firewood available. And still, it's only when it's tzarich la'etzim, only if you really want that to be used as firewood. And that's what you're doing. That's your intention. Only then you're chayav. Okay, interesting. Fine. So you're chayav two in one. Interesting. Okay. Then comes Amar Rav Yosef and says, Hai man dekatel asafseta, which is like shachat, is also chayav shtayim. Achas mishum koitzer v'achas mishum notea. Amar Abaye, a similar idea, but something else you're chayav shtayim. Now, stam, without knowing anything, there's a very strong diuk over here. How come only in the first case, Rav Kahana said that you need the eitzim, but the other cases, it doesn't say you need the eitzim. You don't need the asafseta. Interesting. Keep that in the back pocket. Now, if you were to ask me, I would say that we all know the famous machlokes of Reb Shimon and Reb Yehuda. Reb Shimon says, Melacha she'en tzicha legufa, you're not chayav, you're patur. And Reb Yehuda says, you are chayav. So comes Tosfos and tells me, maybe you guys can help me, I can share with you what I think. For some reason, in Tosfos Beis Midrash, en al ma ledaber, it is so obvious. It is so obvious that this is in Rabbi Yehuda's Beis Midrash as well, which is a bit of a chiddush, because if you look at the dry facts over here, he did the pe'ula for ktsira. He got the toitzah for ktsira, that now it's firewood, and yet, even Rabbi Yehuda's moed are not over. Meichi teisi, how did Tosfos know this? Where is he coming from? So Tosfos says, Tosfos v'tzarich le'etzim, nire de'afilu Rabbi Yehuda, that he's the machmir, that's mechayev on melacha she'en tzicha legufa, ba'inan tzarich le'etzim. And why is that? De'lo mikri be'etzim koitzer, ela b'inyan zeh. Because, you can't be over on koitzer if not this. And I ask, why? It's Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, what do you mean b'inyan zeh? Rabbi Yehuda tells me, I did the pe'ula, I did the toitzah. So question number one we said, well, how does he know it's Rabbi Yehuda? Question number two, why? Why is this true in Rabbi Yehuda's Beis Midrash? Yeah? And then Tosfos says, I'll bring you a raya to what I'm saying. Now, really, only his last raya I really understand. And I'll say the third raya first. The third raya is a person's taking a vegetable now and is drying it out and water's coming out. Now, that screams out dash. Why? Because I have the pe'ula of dash, and I have the toitzah of dash because I got the liquid coming out of the vegetable, and yet still, Tosfos understood that even Rabbi Yehuda's moide, you're not chayiv on that. Okay, that's a good raya. Wow. It sounds like the Kavana has a very intrinsic hashpa on the definition of the Melacha. That's a great raya, because you don't have mekalkel here, you don't have anything. Even in mekalkel, Rabbi Yehuda would moide your punt. But the first two rayas are a bit shver. And he says like this, why is that a good raya? Over there, you could hear that Rabbi Yehuda will tell you, even though it's very machmir, but when you did a pu'ula that resulted in a kilkul, then you won't be, then over there, meaning, what is Tosfos comparing it to? If you did the kriya, shelo menas litfor, or mechika shelo menas lichtov, even Rabbi Yehuda is going to be moide, you're not chayav. Shkoyach Tosfos. Isn't that obvious? That's as they say where I come from, a no-brainer. That's so obvious. Why? Because they did a kilkul. Even Rabbi Yehuda is moide, the kilkul, you're pater, you're not chayav. Yeah? Okay. Now, keep those questions in the back pocket. Now, this idea that Tosfos is sharing with us, for sure he has a good raya from the case with the dash case, right? Now, that idea is a big chiddush be'emet. It sounds like, I don't know how you want to call it, but the kavana a person has, or the derech of the Welt to do a certain thing, that is shtupt into the definition of the melacha. Wow, that's a big chiddush. But the truth is, we see those chiddushim in other places. Before we continue, I just want to mention, Tosfos Reed Be'emet learns this Gemara, that it's Rab Shimon. Because it's a chiddush to say it's Rabbi Yehuda. It flows so nicely to say it's Rab Shimon. Because that's why you say it's tzarich le'etzim. Because you'll never be chayav if not tzarich le'etzim. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you can easily understand when you did the stula, even if you don't need tzarich le'etzim, you'll be chayav. So Tosfos Reed is in the clear. Now, if we go on to the Iglei Tal, he tells us that on the one hand, we know the Rambam, the Iglei Tal is, I have it in my other notes, I'll tell you after, sorry. Yeah, I think it's in Soser, but yeah. Okay, so the Iglei Tal says like this. He explains to us that on the one hand, we know there's a Rambam. The Rambam Mefurish tells us in Perek Aleph Halacha Zayin, he's paskening like Rabbi Yehuda. This is the famous Rambam. He passed Rabbi Yehuda, i.e. Machmir. Melacha she'en tzicha legufa, you're chayav. Kol ha'oseh melacha b'shabbat, af al pi she'eino tzarich legufa shel melacha, chayav alea. And he gives examples. On the other hand, he also paskins our Gemara. He paskins Rav Kahana, which is in Dumani Chet Daled. He says, Kol zera sheksirato metzamachat oto megedalto, kegon asafsata vesilka, hakoitzer b'shpega chayav shtei chata'os. Achas mipnei shu koitzer, v'achas mipnei shu notea. And he says the two magic words, v'chen hazoimer v'hu tzarich le'itzim, chayav mishum koitzer mishum notea. So he's passing this. So we have to deal with the situation. He's going like Rabbi Yehuda. He's learning this Gemara like Tosfos. And he's saying, even Rabbi Yehuda will say you're pater if you're not tzarich le'itzim.
He also says only like you like earlier, only by itzim. Doesn't say about other things. Yeah. Also in the Rambam.
Yeah, female. So that's why I'm very nice. Leading the witness, as they say. And that's exactly what the Iglei Tal says. He brings the Marsha. And the Marsha in Sanhedrin, I think it's Kaf Aleph. He says, I want to tell you what's pshat in the Gemara. Eitzim, it's not shaykh to do a pe'ula ktsira, it's not true. When you cut eitzim, that's not called a pe'ulas ktsira. It's not a pe'ulas ktsira. But if you have kavana to do the pe'ulas ktsira, then you'll be chayav. That's what the Marsha says. And it seems like, and then Alba Rachoinim want to say that Nishmas Adam and others, have a raya for you. Because why is it not normal to do? It's not a pe'ula of ktsira. Why do you think it doesn't fit the Melacha of ktsira? Why? No, why? Why do you think? Because when you do ktsira, what do you go for? Why do you do ktsira? Why do you do ktsira? For the peiros. And for peiros be'emet. What are you going to 18 for peiros because I'm the... So that's what he says. Mimele asafsata, the shachas is peiros. As ani mevin, v'sham lo tzarich be'emet. So if you're Rabbi Yehuda, it's mitzuyan. I'm learning this sugya as Rabbi Yehuda. Over there, I don't need anything because etzim, I'm cutting, that's a tzur of the Melacha, I'm getting the peiros and I'm using them. I don't care if you want or not.
When you chop down bread.
Okay, so you want to say that's also using. He says that's not enough going to the tzur of the Melacha. It's not peiros. And that's, therefore, if you want to use it for wood, then it's like the peiros, pseder. But if you don't want to use it for wood, no, I'm just telling you how the Marsha learns. Yeah? And Nishmas Adam is medayik from our Gemara. Okay? Fine.
So for that, too, flowers also would be picking flowers.
I'm not sure, because is that doing it to shachas? It's already ready as is. Maybe it is, I don't know.
What is the usage of
Nachon? No, I hear your chiluk. Could be that's mechalek, I don't know. Yeah. Your chiluk definitely exists. If that's mechalek in it, I don't know. Okay, fine. So now, there are other places we see this idea of the Rishonim telling us the definition of the Melacha has to do with your Kavana or with the derech of the Welt to do things. Okay, so like this. First of all, let's go like this. to start answering Tosfos kashas, the kashas on Tosfos. First, let's just, if you learn Tosfos, to learn Tosfos and to make sense of Tosfos, it's obvious that Tosfos is learning, yesh makom lachkor, let's start like this. The most famous chakira in this sugya is to say that when you know, the Gemara tells us, when you're doing something al menas, when you're doing a pe'ula, that l'chor, the pe'ula is a pe'ula of stira. You're sois of something, either stira and binyan, or you're mochek tzav. You're doing a pula stira, l'chor, that's not a melacha, because you're doing a pula stira. And we know, there's a famous targum that says, Melaches machsheves is umnus. It's like a chashuv melacha. It's also a Rashi in Beit Sadaf Yud Gimel Amud Beis, that he learns that it's an umnus. Mainly, here you're not doing an umnus. So Tosfos wants to tell us that the definition, yesh makom lachkor. The makom lachkor is the following. When it says al menas, does that mean that we're up against over here? Everyone knows when you do a kilkul, you're pater. Pater or balasu, but pater. So yesh po makom lachkor. When I'm doing a pe'ula, and now be'etzem, there's a kilkul, so all I'm up against is to remove the kilkul, and then I'll be chayav on this melacha, because be'etzem it naturally is a melacha, and I'll be chayav on it. That's tzad number one. And therefore, now, tzad number 2 is to say, no, this is the tzur of melacha we saw in the Mishkan, it's this, or you don't have a melacha. Now, to answer our questions on Tosfos that we didn't understand, if Tosfos learns that this is mamash the gather of the melacha, then you understand very well why he's comparing it to the case of Mochek al menas lichtov, Kollel al menas litfon. It's very understood why he's comparing it to that. Why? Because he says over there, you see that Kollel, the only way you'll be chayav on Kollel, you understood, is al menas litfon. Nothing to do with the problem of kilkul. And let's remove the kilkul away. But that is the definition. Therefore, it is very similar to there. Because it's not stam a kilkul. This is the gedel of the melacha. Which is, and the fact that he puts all of them together with the last one of dash, that we said you're taking a vegetable and squeezing the water out, he'll tell you the gedel of this melacha is dafka when you're doing with kavana that you want to gather the water. Why? Because the shem melacha is gathering the liquids from the solid. But if you had the kavana to bemet to do that, you don't care about the dried vegetables, but rather you want to gather the liquids, you'll be chayav. Ad kam, what you have to say in Tosfos also doesn't make sense. Now, how does Tosfos know that this is how you learn it? And I'll tell you in a second. But first we have to know what are the nafkaminas of this chakira. The nafkamina would be, number 1, obviously, any tikkun would save the day. Any tikkun would save the day because it removes the kilkul. So you don't need dafka to have almanas litfor. If I find the case that I'm korea and wow, through the kriya, I was metaking something. Like your anger, we'll see that, if anything like that, then lichora it should come out that, I'll also be chayav, because I don't have the problem of kilkul. But if you say the tzura of the melacha is only korea almanas litfo, or mochek almanat lichto, forget about it. Then I'm not over. That's nafkamina number 1. Nafkamina number 2. We're trying to get everyone to page. Right, how would it go on? That's Rabbi Akiva Eiger. But, that's nafkamina number 2. So happy they're active in the schabur. So nafkamina number 2. No, bemet. Nafkamina number 2 would be that even Rabbi Yehuda would be moide en po baya. Because if I don't have in my lexicon, my dictionary, this melacha, because as a lot tzura shel melacha, I don't have any problem, right? Yes. And it's not the melacha kazos. And melacha. Now, number 3 would be, even if you don't pass in like Rabbi Yehuda, but I never said it's mutter to do it lachatchila, like mekalkil. If it's only mekalkil, it's still pater of al-asr. But over here, if we don't have the melacha, lichora, unless we have a tzaddi reason to make another derabanon, it should be glat, and you should be able to do it without any problem. Because I'm saying in generally speaking, if I say that all the almanas business, like mochek almanas lichtoi, if I say the only way we saw such a tzura that's asur is almanas lichtoi, so if I don't have almanas lichtoi, it's not like patur of al-asur. Without any other reasoning of Chazal to say, wait, it's Masechol. The way we learn is a fredum shol, divide and conquer. We have to isolate all the other parameters. Could be that after we'll patch it on with the drabanan from left field, as they say. But okay, now, before we move on to Rabbi Akiva Eiger's kasha, because we're now ready to understand Rabbi Akiva's kasha, we have a long time for the lamdas, don't worry. A lot of time, not in a long time. Okay, so now I just want to share with you that there are some other Rishonim that you see that mamash speak out this idea that the Kavana, or the derech to do something, is minei ubei, intrinsic in the definition of the Melacha. So, like this. The Minchas Chinuch brings a Gemora in Shabbos. Gemora in Shabbos, I think it's Yud Beis. And it says like this, Hamechabe kol shu chayav. It's a Rambam.
You say Gemora.
Sorry, I said Gemara, sorry. He brings the Rambam, yeah. Hamechabe, for brisket is like Gemara, no? Hamechabe kol shu chayav. Echad mechabe es haner, ve'echad mechabe es hagacheles shele. Obvious. Aval hamechabe gacheles shel matechet, patur. Patur. Sounds like it's not the Torah, but guess what? It's going to save the day for you to be over. ואם נזכוון לצרף חייו, זאת למגד משנה, ומדברי רבינו שכתב שהכל תלוי בכוונה, so נראה שכל שאינו מסכוון, אין ראוי לומר בפסיק רישי ולא ימוס, listen to this, מפני כשהוא מסכוון הוא עושה מלאכה, וכשאינו מסכוון, it's not in our lexicon, אין בו מלאכה כלל, שהרי אינו רוצה לעשות ממנו כלי, דומה, there's another interesting case, that דומה לקטימת קיסם. Now, if I take a kesam, a little toothpick, I make a little piece of wood, a toothpick, it's amazing for me. This is the Rambam, yeah? Yuda. We hold Melacha shen tzach l'gufta yochayev. I created a toothpick. Perfect. The best toothpick ever. But still, he'll say, shekol shu mipnei tikun kol mi she'ino metakno patur. If you don't do it to create a toothpick, you're patur. Ve'afilu Rabbi Yuda mechayev b'davar she'en miskaven. And okay, so you see from here already, we saw many, the Ramban and the Ritva also, in Shabbos, in the 14th Perek, they bring a Gemara in Sukkah, they say that if you have a hadas, and you're taking off call them the cherries, I don't know what to call them, the little red things, berries, then l'chora you should be over on Yom Tov, yeah, because but then he said, he's mute and hadas, so he says it depends. If you have another hadas and you didn't have kavana to create it to be hadas, then you're in the clear. So you see always the kavana and the derech and the environmental conditions seem to be sometimes mamash minei bein leger melacha. Okay, now it's time to move on, and now we're ready.
Months ago, it's just for a shvat tikun clean because it's not the etzem a kli, it's only becoming a kli l'tzarech melacha.
That's part of the Ram that he's reading in a certain sense. That
right.
those lines.
Yeah, also this brick. It's not anything. It's not a clear problem.
It's not a clear.
Yeah.
But another thing that would automatically be.
So that's the Mochek, the Maseches Mishnah over there. Basically, Maseches says it's mashma that even if it's a kli, it's not a problem. But Maseches is that dafka. If it's not a kli, then you need the machshava. But if it's a kli, then it automatically happens.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're ready to pick up Rabbi Akiva Eiger.
So I said this would be very sure in the lesson is that we would need to buy.
Wait, all we're doing is bringing. I just want to l'saber sa'oizen that you'll see some Rishonim or Achonim learning in the Rishonim that there is such a thing even in Rabbi Yehuda's Shita, because we're in the Rambam, that Melacha she'en zecha legufa yirchayv, and still they'll say, but if you didn't really have kavana, even though before the tzura of what you did and the teitzah should be, your mama should be over in Rabbi Yehuda's Beis Hillel, still because your kavana or the environmental conditions were A or B, it's gonna tell you're off the hook, you're not chayav. That's what I was trying to do, and that I was able to do.
This machloket between Magi and Melacha might be tolerated to a system since it's written.
Maybe I don't want to. That's
it's not about a kui though.
Right here,
there's no kui, right?
So it could be different, because of the kli. So okay, so now that I'm hopefully everyone's on page. Now I want to learn Rabbi Akiva Eiger and see what happened here. You'll see screaming out Rabbi Akiva Eiger were our questions along the way in learning Tosfos. And from our questions, he was machriya, chad mashma'i, that it must be that Tosfos is learning, that the problem with all those things al-menas, like Mochek al-menas lichtov, not that, oh no, I have a kilkul when I did a mechika, I need now to patch it up and make sure I don't have a kilkul, and therefore it has to be al-menas lichtov, but rather that there isn't such a malach. And if that's true, what Ariel asks, he's asking, says like this, he brings the Rav with Tosfos, why? There's no way you can learn this thing koitzer if it's not like this. And then he says, he says, there's no way you can learn otherwise. If you know, that's what it sounds like he's saying. That it's all kilkul. משום קילקול, אלא דקריאה בעצמוסי לא הווה מלאכה, אלא בעל מנת לתפור. And he says, וכן נראה מדברי הכסף משנה. פרק י' הלכה י' שכתב, דפויסח בייס הצוואר, דאינו חייב משום קורע. Why not? מפורש מכסף משנה, on the Rambam, you know why אינו חייב משום קורע? Why? Why when you פוסח בייס הצוואר, אינו חייב משום קורע? It's not almanas. And it's not in our dictionary. לא קיים כזה דבר. דאינו חייב משום קורע, כיוון דאינו אלמנס לתפור. there also, אין לך, I would say, אין לך תיקון יותר גדול מזה. You just created a shirt. What do you mean? No. Af de'osam lepischa havit tzarich. Ve'eino mekalkel. He's definitely not mekalkel. If anything, he creates something new. V'chen nireh midivrei the Tosfos when, now he brings another Tosfos. Chazara, I'm just one amud back from where I'm holding. Remember the whole Shiur thing? What was matir almanas likshor? Or what's the case of matir in the Mishkan? Maseches Rashi and Tosfos, right? Tosfos over here. Tosfos is hakoisher v'hamatir. Says Tosfos, manyan. Tzarchim. Im chai v'matir shelo almanas likshor, or no, it's not. It's like the other almanas. There ain't davar kazeh if it's not almanas likshor. And it sounds like the fact that he's putting it in chad machta in this sugya, that it's not it's mekalkel. Kach Rabbi Akiva Eiger's Mochek. And we know that Rashi says, what's the case? That it doesn't look good now. There's a couple of ksharim, so it's just matir one, not almanas likshor. And Rashi says you're chayav on that. And Tosfos says no way. How can you be chayav on that? Why? It sounds like Tosfos is saying because you do need almanas, and therefore Tosfos says a different case. You take the middle, you rip the rope, and then you reconnect it. You need almanas. So Rabbi Akiva Eiger is bringing this also. And he says, after Hossam, the Tosfos b'matnisim, Kibru Masril HaKosher, the Shakla V'Tarya, they ask, Imatir Shelo Almanas Likshor Chayav. Then it can't be the question, is it Nechshav Mekalkel? Because everyone knows Mekalkel is Patur. Uve Mekalkel Pshita de Patur. Ela de Kavanosam Gamkin. That even the Af Heicha Deino Mekalkel de Patur. Why? And therefore he says, I'll skip the next couple of lines, and he's really building it up to make sure don't even you dare go to the tzad that Tosfos learns it's also mekalkel, and I want to remove the mekalkel, and therefore when he says almanas litfo, it's just a mashal ba'alma, any tikkun is fine. Don't, and he keeps saying this next three lines. And still you see, you're chayv. Keep saying, forget mekalkel, get it out. It's not the pshat of you. V'tma'eni me'oid, what Ariel asked. De'am misugya lekaman, it says, kufei, I think, the korea al meisoi chaya. That's what it says. How can it be? Harei korea al meisoi is not menas. It's not al menas. Over there's two cases. Korea al meisoi either because al meisoi, or because with the Yitzroy. Yeah, v'chamasoi. Harei lehedya dechol deleka kilku chayav af sheno menat litfor. And like we saw in the Mishnah, hakorea b'chamasoi. V'chol ha'mekalkelim pturim. The mashma derak mitamik over there in the sugya. It sounds, what's going on over here? Ad kan, kushas Rabbi Akiva Eiger, he says, tzma'ini me'od, and הוא נשאר בצרכים. Now, before we continue, based on what he says over here, it was ma'orer me that I now understand perhaps why Tosfos Bedafka wanted to say this sugya is Rabbi Yehuda. Aside from maybe he held that's the emes from other places, but mineu bein the sugya there's a remes to that. Why is there a remes? Because what's Rav Kahana saying? He's saying v'tzarich la'etzim, right? Why is Rav Kahana saying tzarich la'etzim? He's saying tzarich la'etzim. No, it's tzarich la'etzim. No, it's if it was also mekalkel, he's trying to show you it's not ots kilkul. It's not ots kilkul. Because tzarich la'etzim says kilkul. I don't have a kilkul. I wanted these eitzim. Tzarich la'etzim only kilkul. As mani shali. The only thing that's left is it's not a getter of a melacha, and therefore it must be Soser Rabbi Yehuda. Can you understand what I just tried to say? I want to say again. Rav Kahana says, if it's kilkul, let me ask something. Do you agree that every melacha if it's kilkul you're not chayav? Pashtus, right? Pashtus if it's kilkul you're not chayav. Pashtus.
No, most melachas.
Most melachas kilkul you're not chayav. Yeah.
And even in the Rabbi Yehuda, Shimon is the one that is holds.
So, and Dafka, the Gemara wants to say v'tzarich leitzim. What's the chiddush in that? If it's all kilkul, we know already. Every kilkul you're mundane.
No, he's not
Right.
Why?
You're doing the zomer. The zomer is not kilkul.
If you're not doing for the eitzim, it's not a kilkul?
No, it's not. It's not a Zomer. It's Zomer.
Well, according to the Marsha, it is a kilkul.
No.
Oh, not a kilkul.
The Zomer for sure is a regular Zomer.
Right. Okay, so I still don't know what's pushing Rabbi Tosfos to say. I don't know what's pushing Tosfos to say it has to fit with Rabbi Yehuda, that all this starts. But okay.
I mean, why not?
What do you mean, why not?
Why not?
Because it's screaming out that it's Rabbi Shimon. It sounds like it's...
Why is that?
You just gave a great.
I'll tell you why. Because
no, I understand this.
I'll tell you the strong side to say it's only Rabbi Shimon, because it sounds like the second you're dealing with Kavana and your Kavana was like this. In Rabbi Yehuda's dictionary, you don't really have that. I don't care about your Kavana. Look at the Pula, look at the Tutzah.
But a regular Zomer is not usually Tzarech Ha'etzim. Here it's a Chiddush, you're saying Zomer, and you happen to be Tzarech Ha'etzim. So it's also Chayv another Chiv. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, fine.
It's two sides.
Fine, so let's move on. Okay, I hear. Yeah. So I don't have a good answer. I don't know. To me, it sounds like if that's more Reb Shimon because of that.
There's two opinions.
Okay, let's move on. Now, famous Stipler. I'll be very happy that everyone looks into it after. Stipler brings the Kasha of Rabbi Akiva Eiger, and at the beginning, it sounds like he answers what I want to answer. I want to make a chiluk that when your tikkun itself is in the chefza you're working on, then that you can hold that you're chayav even when you do the negative action. Meaning, when you did a kriya, like in Daf Kuf Hey, you wanted this toitzah, and you don't want the almenas. You want it tzasam. Now, the Bir Halacha does want to try to say, yeah, it's almenas, it's only a mashal. And the Stipler says he obviously didn't have Rabbi Akiva Eiger. He proved to you from so many ways, you cannot say that in Tosfos. So how can you, Bir Halacha, try to say in Tosfos? So I'm trying to go another way. I'm going to say, yesh makom lechalik. And the chiluk is, when I do a pe'ula of kriya, and I have some tikkun indirectly somewhere. Overall, something happened because of for example, I broke into I made a hole in the wall to get fruits. So overall, there's a tikkun, I got the fruits. Yeah? No, that's not good enough. But when you do a pe'ula in the thing itself, and now you fix the thing itself, like here, I want a beged karua. I create a kriyat, that's all I did. It's a subset of the melacha. It's even better, lichora. I don't need another step. Minei obeys the tikkun. So perhaps that's even worse, and therefore I'll be chayiv on that. What do you tell me? Where did you see that in the Mishkan? I don't know if I have to come on to the vort. I'll say later that maybe it's a tolada. Minei obey. Even if you're able to do the same toitzah in half of halacha, surely that's even worse in this case.
You have to add on a slit for, but you got what you wanted. That's okay. Like, let's say you get your head at, and that's all you wanted. You didn't want to do a proper column. Just you want to get
we'll get lichoira, that's going to be in a second, that Litzavar case, because we have to work with that also. But first I'm saying that's the chiluk I want to do. Now, if you read the Stipler inside, which we don't have time to do right now, but if you look just in that paragraph, at the beginning he's saying exactly this. He's saying, yeah, first he's saying, I know it's a big kasha, so don't jump on me if I'm saying chidushim, but you have to. He says, do you know what's unique about this arba avois? Shani mishar avois, dainu bekorea, bainam dafkan matz litfor, mochek, bainam nas lichtor, etc. Yeah, and then vebematir nistapko atoisos. Why? All these dalad avois, hema ha-melechet stira, the besoiser, kasasor melechet abinyan shebekan, uvemochek soiser, everything soiser. Vekimnu lechazal, the melecha stira lo chashiv melacha. Ela im ken hu be'al menas letaken et stira. Or else it's not a melacha. It's not a chashiv thing like we said. It's not an umnus. What is it? Dehainu shaya soiser amnas livnav, gram nas litfor, etc. Aval lecheshiyutzar korea mochek uchayetze bo she'en beshu melechet stira. Meaning mine. I don't know if he's saying exactly my word. It might be even external, but he's saying when your pula is gufa tikun, it sounds like it is what I'm saying. Then you're in the clear. That's all he wants to answer, and everything's great. And I could stop the chabur right here, but for some reason. The next paragraph, suddenly he says even this chiddush I can swallow because I thought of myself. But the next chiddush suddenly he's suddenly saying, I want to give you a cool mahalach, Gavra versus Chefza, which is beautiful, but it's the biggest chiddush ever. And Vani Katan Shuel, why is he coming on to that? What is he coming on to? He says like this: in every melacha, what do you really want? You want the toitzah in the Chefza. You want the toitzah now. Now we'll be able to get to the fruits. Now I want to have. I want to have a situation where I want a sadeh charush. I want a hole. I want whatever you want. You're doing a pull to get that. If someone says, here it is, you don't have to do any pull, I'll say, Gishmak, thank you. That's a gilui to know. All I want is a change in the chefza. But over here is different. Over here, I'm magdir the melacha as the pu'ula. I want her calm my nerve, calms my anger. I don't want to beged karua. That's what I want to do. It's begeder ahana. Huge chiddush, huge, right? Huge chiddush, beautiful, but huge chiddush. And he's saying that to answer. And therefore he says, and now it's geshmak. Why? Let's answer Rabbi Akiva Eiger's kasha. Ma baya. Rabbi Akiva Eiger over there, machamasoy, and you want to do the ma'aseh kriya because you're not being yotzeh the halacha, the mitzvah of doing kriya. So I need to do the kriya. I need to do kriya to calm my nerves. It's not going to help me to get me. Mele over there, you can hear. How? What are you going to say? It's a tolada of what's going on. This is so different. How gufa? Because it's so different. How can you call it a tolada? But he wants to say, mimele, that's why over there you're chayiv. Because over there, the beer and end all of the melacha is actually the pe'ula you're doing. And because you did a full-pledged pe'ula, a pe'ula like that, and he says these are very unique. Very unique. You're not going to find so. He says, he says only and he says, it's like achila, because it's ana. משתמש עכשיו במלאכת ההריגה שבו, אבל כל קורא דעלמא לאיזה צורך אחר, for a different reason, that's what he answers. Yeah? Answer is understood? Big chiddush, but answer is understood or no? Okay, again. When you do a melacha, what are you really trying to achieve? a change in the object, right? Every melacha you're creating something. Ashi used to love talking about this. Every melacha you create something. Even the melacha grua, we had to figure out how you're doing something. Because melacha grua is moitzi. You're not really creating anything in the chefet. What are you doing? Yeah, but I brought it closer to its destination. I did something. Yeah, and some want to say that also tzeda is. Because tzeda, you didn't create anything in the chefet. It's just the environmental conditions. You changed that. It's now in the matzav trap. But it's all connected to, you made a tikkun here. A type of tikkun. And that's what you're chayav. Here he's saying the tikkun is not in the object or in the environmental conditions. It's in me. The hana I got from the kriya, or fulfilling the mitzvah that the Gavra got, that I need to fulfill the mitzvah. I need to do a kriya. I don't need a beged kavua. I want to do the kriya itself. So when I do a kriya, that was the tikkun itself, the mais, the pe'ula, not the titzah of a beged kavua. Wait, you want to ask, understand the yesod? You want to ask on the yesod? I can also ask on the yesod. It's a big kiddush. The yesod is that these are very unique because what you're trying to accomplish is the pe'ula that you're doing and not the titzah. Kacha omer ha-staitler. You understand what I'm saying? Sorry? And he wants to say it's up. Big Chiddush, yeah. Ad kan dvarav. Big Chiddush, which, what? Wait a second. Nachon. Wait.
The tail because you're injured, right? Yes. And that's
No.
Wait, let me say, don't. This is my next slide. Now, Ani Katan don't understand. At Kama, we all think it's a huge Chiddush. Why is he doing this? And he's using this concept also to answer another question, which is a different question. It's going to sound like the same. Why is it not a Maisa Kilkul, a Maisa Aitered? I don't care all your lamdas. Aitered. So he said, because of this, it's not, because Abchina is from the Gava. But never mind. Why is he doing this? I think the answer is because, I don't know if this is what you're alluding to. I think you were going the wrong way. That's why our mantra started jumping. But what I think what's happening over here is the Beis Hatzavam, according to the lamdas without the Gava, yeah, what should come out? The Beis Hatzavam. You're leaving at 5-2, no people? What happens with the Beis Hatzava, yeah? Beis Hatzava. What's happening in Beis Hatzava? According to what we're saying now, forget the Stipler's Gavavo. What are we saying? Beis Hatzava, you did a Kriya. We said, if you do a Kriya, my Mahalach, what I thought the Stipler was saying at the beginning, in the Chefza itself, it was a Tikkun. You'd be Chayav al Kriya or no? You would, yeah. But we saw that in the Rambam, no. Ma Koreh. Maybe that's what bothered the Stipler. Ma Koreh po. I need to think of another Chiluk, right? That's how we do. We find Chilukim, right? I was always taught, first find Chilukim. Every computer can do that. But then you try to figure out if it makes sense in Svar. In Svar, yeah? This is the chiluk. It's, yeah, so what's going on now? What's the chiluk? We can't think.
That is it. Right. Because my we would rather not have that the whole day. We wouldn't have to do the Kriya. That's what you're saying.
You should be chayv on Kriya because I want the titzah of a ripped collar neck. I want that, right? Ad kedei kach. A lot of people are toying with that. Why, be'emet? Why is it? So either you say it's not Kriya because it's not salmenas, but based on what we're saying, what's going on? So I did see the Chazon Ish saying the reason you're mechayev metak and kli, it's like the Bir Halacha brings us down in Shin Mem. It's too good. You know, sometimes you give answers that are too good. It's too good. A balabat looking from the side, like we say on when you dance on Shabbos. What is he going to call that? You're walking or you're dancing? A balabas will say, you're not gripping. You're creating a shirt now. So he's not even going to be called Kriya, and therefore you're not even in the parsha. Chidush. But that will answer this question. But anyways, perhaps that's why the Stipler wants to bring the Gava. To make, yeah? The Gava Volt will answer. Why will it answer? Because in the Tzavar, do I love ripping and creating shirts? No, that's not what I want. I want the Titzah, right? I want the Titzah of the thing. And if I want the Titzah, I'm ready, I'm back to the regular rule, the only rule we know. In the Tosfos basement, the depends on Rabbi Akiva Eiger, and whoever learns Tosfos this way, which is the normal way to learn it. You can only have one path. Almanas. So in the Beis Hatzavar, you didn't do Almanas, like the Kesef Mishnah told us. You didn't do Almanas, you can't be Chaya. But if you suddenly have a vote, the Gava, over here, Bemet, I don't have Almanas and I don't have Gava. But guess what? With the Kollel Bechamoso, you have the Gava. The purpose of the pool, by the way, I don't think it's so crazy of a chiddush. It is because you're going to have to connect it to the Mishkan. That's what's hard. And how is the tolaga of something? It's so different. But at the end of the day, you can hear in Svar, it makes a lot of sense. We had this already. The Rav Mantra spoke about it once, about this idea with the Hana, with Isur Hana and Avodah Zarah, that there's, when the Achila Shabo, it's like, the end, when is the end result of the Melacha? When you're doing the rib. So that's it. En Amal Daber Yoter. This was the Pe'ula. It's a cool Mahalach. It's the Pe'ula itself. Yeah, it's like Hana. Last malach I want to say, this is beautiful, and if it wasn't Mishpitzo Eshel Avram, Pri Megadim, that says the Bir Halacha brings down, then you could look at me as if I'm crazy. But because I have that in my pocket, I can extrapolate a bit more, and I think it's Moedik. First, we'll start off that there's a Magid Mishneh out there in Perik Zayin. There's a Magid Mishneh in Perik Zayin that says, what's the Geder of an Av? An Av is big toilada, is mikza sa'av. Okay? That's what he said. Now, if that's mikza sa'av, listen to this. I wish I had time to say all the question alleviates. It's like I have 10 kashas that alleviates, but we're just going to use it for Rabbi Akiva Eiger's answer. There's Tiras and Rashi. There's a crazy Shulchan Aruch Harav that says you don't have korea if it's one piece. Like if it's oil is one piece. It's not many threads together. You can't have korea on that. But you see, Rishonim Mefurish says there is korea on oil. What's going on? To answer this, in Mechika, you need davar miskayim. On davar miskayim, only there you're over on Mochek, but suddenly you see another place you don't need. I need to erase enough to write 2 letters? No, I don't need. It steers all over the place. Answer, Tzvei dinim in melachos. The av melacha, we'll do it in Mechika and you can extrapolate to Korea. The av melacha of Mochek is Mochek 2 letters that are written properly on davar kayam to create new 2 letters. That's the av. But the tolada is going to be one or the other. Vani asbir. Yesh makom lachko, and both sides of the chakira are tolada. When I'm moichek, what's the isur? The actual mechika? Or dilma, no. It's the ani machshir et hamakom for a ksiva. Again, is the peula of mechika what I'm over on? Or no, I'm doing a mechika that the teksa'ah will yield a place to write 2 letters. Nafkamina is huge because if the whole thing is just to be machshir to write 2 letters, then I don't really care what your moichek. It doesn't have to be letters even. It can be stomach kishkush. But I care that you're going to leave room for 2 letters because that's the shiur. The shiur is in the ksiva after, or else you're not machshir. On the other hand, if it's a din in the mechika, it has to be a proper mechika. Just you need a t'nai that won't be a kilkul, of course. You need a t'nai won't be a kilkul. So let's say he brings down in the place scheme a shtar choiv. A shtar choiv that's not relevant anymore. So all you want to do is moicheket. All you want to do is moicheket. So you'll be chayav only mechika, not al manas, but only if you're moichek something real. You can't be moichek at tishtush because it's all in the mechika, not in machshir something. So the mechika has to be proper, which means it has to be at least 2 letters on davar kayama, on bar kayama. And the same thing with korea. Korea almanas litfol. Is it the kriya? And I don't want to have a kilkul, therefore I have almanas. Or no, it's the machshir for the tfirah. Mimele, what the Shulchan Aruch says about or, that you don't have, it's not kriya. Kriya is only when you have 2 things stuck together and you're ripping them back to be separate. So the Shulchan Aruch says that. So he'll say, yeah, that you don't have a kriya. But if you do a kriya to be machshir, tfira, machpat li mata korea. I just care about the tuitzah that'll be machshir to litfal et zeh. Mimele answers all those questions. And Mimele can answer us also, Rabbi Akiva Eiger. Skasha. Why? Because over there, the case with the Beis Hatzava, let's work it out. Beis Hatzava, Korea, because both you do have such a tolada. I have a tolada of just Korea, I'm not asking for. I have 2 toladas. The Korea over there, I did the kriya. I need a proper kriya. Yeah? No, so why? In the Beis Hatzava, I want to try to explain what? So, okay. The Beis Hatzava, the only thing I want to apply now to Rabbi Akiva Eiger is kasha. So what are we saying? The Korea with Beis Hatzava, what am I doing now? It's not amanas. It's not amanas litfol.
I don't care about the Amrit for it. I want to care about the right.
I'm doing no, so I won't. That's why I can't be chayv on korea. I'm not meeting any of those tolados. But bechamasoi, I have to figure this out. The last piece, just how it answers. But Tachakir answers many questions, and I think it answers also Rabbi Akiva Eiger's kasha. I have to think how it worked out. Yeah, you hear the chakiras though.
This concludes another episode of the Prism of Torah. Thank you for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something valuable. If you did, please subscribe to the podcast and give a 5-star rating. You can also find this podcast wherever you get your podcasts or our own website, prismoftorah.com, where we have a full archive of all our past episodes. We would like to thank Yona Vefa for the recording equipment and Eli Podcast Productions for handling all our post-podcast productions. Join us next week for another enlightening conversation on the Prism of Torah.